This looks rough. The way this is going, they're gonna roll us all the way back to the second point without a contest. Oh, cross your fingers. We gotta slow them down. Oh. Oh, that went well. A fluke, surely. You see, this particular moment comes from the early beta, as you may be able to tell from the old hero portrait in the bottom left. I was not a good Hanzo. So this was the first time I'd ever done anything cool in this character. Then Reinhardt came along to ruin it, and somebody saved my life, and then Reaper came along to ruin it, and then he fell flat on his face.
They fall before me, one after another.
I think we slowed him down. Oh, it was so cool. I felt so good. I want to do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Teach me. Somebody teach me. Nobody taught me anything. I had to learn this shit myself. And to this day, I still learn. I'm still figuring it out. But it's gotten a lot better than it used to be. And quite frankly, I am content with where I'm at. And I hope you'll excuse this dragon. It may look shite now, but it does stop them from walking forward, and thus locks them in place for me. And a part of my training still involves learning to shoot traces. I had the satisfaction of finally nailing this one. And fuck McCree. Alright, pretty content with that. I'll say I've come a long way. I'll spare you the footage of my beta performance. Instead, let's talk Hanzo. Now, pretty much all of Hanzo's damage comes from his bow and many arrows. And all the arrows you shoot have an arc to them, so they will start to drop as they travel. Now, you can tap to shoot and you'll dink the arrow in a soft, slow fashion, or you can hold it down to charge it, and after half a second you'll be at max charge, and you'll let loose a shot with a lot more speed and sting to it. The lightest, softest shot you could let loose will travel slowly, it will dip harshly, and it will only deal 29 damage. On the other end of the scale, a fully charged shot will travel at a lightning pace with far less drop over distance, and it will deal 125 damage. Much better. You should probably look to shoot a charge shot as often as you can. But understandably, it's a fast game and time is of the essence, and in these situations you can choose to shoot mid-charge, and your damage will be anywhere in between those two damage values, depends on how long you hold it for. Whoa, hush! Once you've played the game enough to get a good feel for how much health your enemies have, or specifically how much they have remaining, you can then start developing a feel for Hanzo specifically, knowing how long you'll have to charge a shot for, and have the arrow actually kill them. It's twice as nice with a headshot, dealing double damage. That means a fully charged headshot will deal 250 damage. That's enough reach to one-shot Mei and Reaper. Yes, quite respectable damage from Hanzo, and this damage will not fall off over distance, meaning he's great at killing people at long range if he can hit them. But you can always trust in yourself to hit the stationary Bastion. It's a pretty good matchup for you, the Hanzo. Also good against Torbjorn's turrets, and speaking of Torbjorn, he's going to chase me and I'm kind of scared. I'm going to let a sonic arrow sit there on the pillar, which will show me the whereabouts of anyone within 10 meters of where the arrow lands, but I don't see anyone, meaning Torbjorn ran away, presumably back to his turret. I can hear it to my left, so we'll take a look when it's safe. And Hanzo, as we said, good at taking out Bastion and Torbjorn's turrets since they're stationary, and he can deal a lot of damage in a quick peek around the corner, taking minimal damage in return. Once Torb is gone, I'll put another sonic arrow at the top of the road, letting me see them come around the corner, and in the building above, Bastion is coming along, but thanks to sonic arrow, my whole team knows about it. That's another tick for me over the robot. And now for the strangest and probably toughest to explain, but still very important part of Hanzo's kit, scatter arrow. Alright, so you start by shooting a regular arrow. Okay, easy, let's just... What in the mighty dragon's beard is going on? Okay, so let's dissect this shit. So you shoot your arrow, and then it splits into 6 more that bounce around 5 times each? Who even knows? What we do know is that the properties of these cluster arrows will respect the behavior of the arrow that you shoot depending on how much you charge it, meaning it'll share the same arc, the same travel speed, and while individually they'll do less damage than a typical arrow, they will scale in damage in a similar manner depending on how much you charge the shot. Now the low end damage, I can only guess how much these fragments are doing individually with no charge. If I had to guess, I think it's about 15 or 16 damage per fragment. The good news is, you won't have to worry about that because Scatter Shot should pretty much always be used with full charge. And at full charge, these fragments will deal 75 damage each. Hypothetically, if you landed all of these scatter fragments at full charge, you're dealing 450 damage, which is incredible burst for an ability on a 10-second cooldown. So how can you make sure you're going to get the most value out of Scatter Arrow? In your most typical scenario, you are going to be aiming it down diagonally at their feet, such that a whole cluster will bounce upwards into their lower body. As a quick note, Hanzo's default crosshair will change depending on what kind of arrow you have primed. The circle meaning Sonic Arrow, and the 3 corners meaning Scatter. And as a final note, the fragments from Scatter Arrow cannot headshot. Not anymore. So to put that knowledge to use here in Anubis, I aim the Scatter Arrow in front of Bastion. However, I accidentally kill a Mercy walking out of spawn, who very unfortunately tripped up over all my fragments and fell flat on her face. And I finish off Bastion afterwards. My Scatter Arrow is now coming off cooldown again, right as Mei wants to seek safe haven in the shelter at the back, but that Scatter seeks her out, the bouncers being gracious. This is a very powerful ability, and you should use it on cooldown if you can.
So predictable.
That'll leave us with the Dragon, specifically Dragon Strike, the ultimate. It's a pretty cool ability. It shoots a fucking dragon out of your bow, so that's pretty rock and roll. Things to know about this Dragon Spirit: it goes through players, it goes through shields, it goes through barriers, it goes through walls, and it goes infinitely from across the entire map if you wish. You can shoot this thing in the sky and just watch it fly, and then cry because you wasted it. But you're not going to do that. You're going to shoot it properly and get some good use out of it. You want to shoot it into a channel. And by that I mean an area that the enemies have to funnel through. A doorway, a narrow corridor, a bridge. And then even a little further from there, turn it slightly sideways so that it cuts off their escape route. In this case, I'm going to shoot it across the bridge, into that chamber down there, but turn slightly to the left because that's the only direction they can back away into. It's a huge area denial, and if they dare step in the area, then they shall be devoured at a rate of over 200 damage per second. That's some serious ticking damage. You cannot stand in Dragon Strike or you will absolutely die, so make it hard for them to escape. That'll conclude our investigation into Hanzo's curious damage output. And I'm sure this will leave one burning question on a lot of people's minds, which is simply, boo, it is early June 2016 and currently Widowmaker is a sniper who is hilariously OP. Why would you ever pick Hanzo over her? Why? Well, dragons. That's the short answer. The long answer is fucking dragons, man. Never mind your spiders and your venom and your widow's kiss. Why don't you kiss my dragon's scaly ass? There is no contest here. Get out of this discussion, Widowmaker. That's why. We're here for redemption, and we will not dishonor ourselves further by succumbing to your wicked ways, Widow. This has been Hanzo. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.